Learning English with the Bible? Sounds crazy, right? But maybe the real problem isn't your English. Maybe it's your ears. You keep repeating the same mistakes, not just in grammar, but in life, because you've been ignoring the right word. Let me ask you something honest. How many times have you felt misunderstood when speaking English? How often do you freeze, stumble, or just avoid saying what really matters because you feel lost for words? Now, imagine this. What if the clarity you're searching for in English is hidden inside ancient wisdom written thousands of years ago? And what if I told you, in just a few minutes you could discover secrets that not only improve your English but sharpen your spirit? This episode is not just another Learning English video. It's a wake-up call, a mirror, a path. You're about to unlock 5 lessons buried deep inside Proverbs 2 lessons that go beyond grammar and touch your heart, your decisions, and your identity. This isn't just about speaking better English. It's about speaking with wisdom, speaking with purpose, speaking in a way that builds your future. So take a breath, open your mind, and prepare your heart. Because by the end of this video, you won't just sound different, you'll be different. Let's begin. Lesson 1. True wisdom begins with the right voice. Have you ever caught yourself saying something you later regretted? Like a moment when you spoke too soon, too harshly, or without really understanding the full picture. Proverbs 2 begins with a call to listen, to receive words of wisdom, to treasure commands, and to incline your ear to understanding. This isn't about memorizing grammar rules or speaking perfect English. It's about learning the power of what you say and who you're listening to. In a world filled with loud opinions, sarcasm, and shallow advice, how do you train your ear to hear the right voice? Maybe your English hasn't improved, not because you're lazy or slow, but because you've been feeding on noise, not nourishment. Listening in biblical wisdom is active. It's leaning in. It's seeking truth, not just talking more. This is the moment to change the way you speak, think, and believe. Proverbs 2 teaches that wisdom enters your heart when you first choose what you're listening to. That applies to English too. If you're always surrounded by fear-based content, negativity, or surface-level conversation, your words will mirror that. But if you choose to immerse in deep, rich language through scripture, powerful stories, and intentional learning, your English will begin to reflect wisdom. Words shape thoughts, and thoughts shape lives. So the real question is, who's shaping yours? Before you even open your mouth, something has already spoken to your mind. Don't ignore that. Proverbs 2 is whispering a challenge. Start listening to what truly matters. And when you do, you'll realize this is just the beginning. Lesson 2. Craving knowledge changes everything. Have you ever really craved something? Not just wanted it, but craved it? Proverbs 2 uses a powerful image. Search for it as for hidden treasures. It's talking about wisdom, but let's apply that to your English. Most people say they want to speak better, but they treat it like a hobby, not a treasure. Imagine if someone told you that buried in your backyard was a chest filled with gold. Would you casually dig for it 10 minutes a week? Of course not. You'd wake up early, stay up late, sweat, dig, and not stop until you found it. That's the level of hunger Proverbs is talking about. And here's the twist. That treasure, it's not buried outside. It's hidden inside the very words you haven't yet learned, the vocabulary you avoid, the expressions you haven't practiced, the truth you've been too distracted to hear. This kind of pursuit changes everything, not just your English, but your attitude. When you begin to treat wisdom and language as something sacred, something powerful, your brain shifts. You stop making excuses like, I'm too old to learn or my accent is too strong. You begin to see learning not as a chore, but as a spiritual act. And every new word becomes a tool. Every verse a mirror. Every lesson a door. What would happen if you woke up tomorrow with the mindset of a treasure hunter? What if, instead of scrolling aimlessly, you looked for new words with purpose? What if every sentence you spoke reflected the wisdom you've been digging for? That kind of hunger is rare, but it's what turns an average learner into a wise speaker. And this craving is just the beginning of the transformation. Lesson 3. Understanding protects you from foolish decisions. Have you ever made a decision you regretted because you didn't fully understand the situation? Maybe you spoke too quickly in English and embarrassed yourself. Or maybe it was bigger trusting the wrong person, accepting the wrong job, or even walking away from something God was using to grow you. Proverbs 2 says something powerful. Understanding will guard you. That's not poetic fluff, that's a promise. Wisdom doesn't just sound beautiful, it acts as your shield. And here's what most people miss. Language without understanding is dangerous. You can say fluent sentences and still communicate confusion, offense, or even lies simply because you lacked depth. Understanding goes beyond translation. It's knowing when, how, and why to say something. It's choosing silence when needed, empathy over pride, and clarity instead of just speed. This lesson can change the way you once you realize that understanding is a form of protection, you begin to slow down, reflect more, and speak with purpose. Imagine walking into a meeting, a conversation, or even a prayer, not just knowing the words, but understanding the weight of them. That's when English becomes more than a skill, it becomes a tool of discernment. It's the difference between reacting and responding. And Proverbs 2 is clear. The more understanding you gain, the less likely you are to fall into traps, linguistic traps, emotional traps, spiritual traps. Think about it. How many mistakes could you have avoided if you just had more understanding in that moment? And what if every word you speak could now become part of your armor? That kind of protection is just getting started. Lesson 4. Your words reflect what you feed your mind. Have you ever said something and immediately thought, where did that even come from? Here's the secret. It came from inside. Proverbs 2 reveals that wisdom enters the heart, and knowledge becomes pleasant to the soul. That means your words don't start in your mouth, they start in your mind. If all you consume is shallow content, gossip, or negativity, don't be surprised when your English sounds empty, your thoughts feel foggy, and your life seems out of alignment. Language is like fruit, it reveals the root, and you can't expect fluent, wise, and meaningful speech to grow from a starved mind. This goes beyond grammar. It's about soul nutrition. What you feed on daily will eventually speak through you. So what are you feeding your spirit? This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming intentional. Every time you open the Bible, every time you pause to reflect on truth, every time you listen to wise teaching instead of viral noise, you're planting seeds that will eventually grow into better English, better thoughts, and a better life. And you know what? People notice. They may not say it, but they'll feel that your words will carry weight. Your sentences will echo wisdom. Your conversations will become safer, deeper, and more impactful. Proverbs 2 doesn't just challenge you to speak well, it invites you to live well, so your speech naturally follows. So ask yourself, if someone listened to how you speak English, what would they say you've been feeding on? This reflection sets the stage for something even deeper. Lesson 5. Choosing the path of the righteous is a daily decision. How often do you think about the direction your words are taking you? Proverbs 2 ends with a powerful image. The path of the upright versus the path of the wicked. But this isn't just a spiritual metaphor, it's practical for your English and your life. Every word you speak is a step, every phrase a direction. When you choose to speak with integrity, patience, and wisdom, you're walking the path of the righteous, even in another language. But when you let frustration, pride, or carelessness take over, your words can lead you off course. Think about it. How many relationships, opportunities, or moments were lost, not because you didn't know the right grammar, but because you chose the wrong tone? Proverbs is shouting a truth we often whisper: your voice shapes your destiny. This is not about never messing up. It's about choosing daily to speak with purpose. You might wake up tired, insecure, or unsure, but still you have a choice. Will your English reflect fear or faith, confusion or clarity, anger or grace? Righteousness isn't a single decision, it's a rhythm. It's built word by word, day by day. And Proverbs 2 makes it clear. God watches over the way of the righteous. That means you're not alone. Your effort to speak wisely, even in English, is noticed. Maybe that one encouraging phrase you say today is the exact thing someone else needs to hear. So the next time you open your mouth, whether in prayer, in a meeting, or in class, remember, you're not just learning to speak English. You're learning to walk a higher path, and that path leads somewhere powerful. You've just heard 5 lessons from Proverbs 2 that go deeper than English. They go straight to your soul. Now, take a second and ask yourself, which of these truths hit you the hardest? Was it the reminder that what you listen to shapes what you speak? Or maybe the challenge to crave wisdom like hidden treasure? Perhaps it was realizing that your words reflect what you're feeding your mind, or the powerful truth that speaking wisely is a daily choice, not a one-time fix. Whatever it was, don't let it just be a video you watched. Let it be a turning point. So here's what I want to know from you. Which of these lessons moved you the most? Which one made you pause, reflect, maybe even feel a bit uncomfortable in a good way? And most importantly, what will you do with it? Will you start listening differently? Speaking more intentionally? Seeking wisdom like your future depends on it because it does? If this video spoke to you, share it with someone who needs this wisdom too. And don't forget to subscribe not just for English lessons, but for the kind of insight that transforms your heart and your words. Turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because here, we're not just learning how to speak English, we're learning how to speak with wisdom, and your journey is only beginning.